Are there exceptions to the Cuban embargo? Are there exceptions to the Cuban embargo? This question brings us to a fascinating aspect of U.S. and Cuban relations. The Cuban embargo, which began in 1960, was a response to the Cuban Revolution and the nationalization of American properties. It restricts trade, financial transactions, and travel between the United States and Cuba. However, there are some exceptions to this broad embargo. First, let's talk about travel. U.S. citizens can travel to Cuba under specific categories. These include family visits, educational activities, and humanitarian projects. This means that many Cuban Americans can visit their families in Cuba, which is a significant connection for them. Next, we have remittances. These are funds sent by Cuban Americans to their relatives in Cuba. While there are limits on how much money can be sent, this practice has been allowed and is vital for many families. The amount and regulations around remittances can change depending on the current U.S. administration. Now let's discuss financial transactions. Although general financial dealings are restricted, there are some exceptions. For example, transactions related to telecommunications, humanitarian aid, and the export of food and medicine can be permitted under specific licenses. This allows some support to reach the Cuban people, despite the embargo. The U.S. government also maintains lists that restrict certain business activities. The Cuba Restricted List and the Cuba Prohibited Accommodations List identify entities linked to the military or government that U.S. persons cannot engage with. These lists can change, reflecting the political climate and policy shifts. In early 2025, there was an attempt to ease some sanctions by allowing certain financial transactions with military-controlled entities in Cuba. However, this was quickly reversed, reinstating strict limitations. The core embargo laws remained unchanged, and restrictions on lodging at specific government-owned properties continue. From a cultural standpoint, the embargo has deeply affected Cuban society and the broader Latin American region. It shapes economic conditions and migration patterns. The exceptions, like family travel and remittances, serve as lifelines for many Cuban families separated by the embargo. In summary, while the Cuban embargo is extensive and long-lasting, there are specific exceptions related to travel, remittances, and limited financial transactions. These exceptions fluctuate with changing U.S. administrations but do not alter the fundamental framework of the embargo.